Welcome back to the channel. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe for me. We have officially sanded the entire body of the truck, just like we did with the bed inside the other shop, along with the hood back there. We have sanded the entire truck with 400 dry, and now I'm getting ready to go back over every single thing with 800 wet sand and do the final sanding on it. It's been over 100 plus degrees this whole week and last week. Super high humidity. That's why I'm actually sweating out here now. We just had a really decent rainstorm, so it ended up allowing the temperature to drop a little bit, but the humidity is still sky high. But I think I can get away with spraying this week if the weather cooperates. They're calling for rain the next couple of days. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and go ahead and get the top sanded and the majority of this cab, the hood, and all that. If I can get all this wet sanded tonight, then Thursday, so tonight's Tuesday, Thursday, whenever I come back in, I can go ahead and get everything taped up that I'm not spraying, because like I said, I'm planning on spraying the top separate, the top and door jambs separate from the rest of the truck, just so that I don't have to be up and down and taking a chance at hitting the door on my scaffolding or anything like that, because it's going to be kind of hectic to try and keep the doors open, keep everything out of my way, and still allow me to get back and forth and do what I need to do. So we'll guide coat this thing again. I guide coated it with the 400. I'm going to guide coat it one more time, wet sand it with 800. Make sure that all my body work is done properly. Make sure that everything looks good with it wet. If everything looks good, then we will, like I said, go ahead and try and get it taped up Thursday night. Spray the roof, door jambs, possibly the hood, and then maybe Friday go ahead and complete the cab, finish painting the rest of the cab. Still playing this by ear right now. And then I need to get inside and 800 wet the bed and the tailgate. And I've got some masking material, which is a sprayable masking compound that most painters use for like frames, engine bays, anything that they don't want painted, right? It sprays on just like you're spray painting the vehicle, and it washes off with water. So that's why it's vitally important that I get the wet sanding done now, that I want to do for my final sand before paint. Go ahead and pressure wash the truck, get all the dust and debris off of it that I can, from sanding and all that stuff. Try and get it as clean as I possibly can before I start painting. And like I said, it may be Friday before I actually get to where I'm able to paint this thing. I'd like for it to be Thursday. I've said that a million plus times already on the channel. I'm just walking y'all through it, how I'm able to go through it, right? I'm only one man. I'm working, 6 to 8 hours out here after working a full-time job in the evenings, and trying to make things happen. The customers, he's been super gracious with me. I've spoken with him. We still have some things in the works that still have to be mocked up for the side steps. They haven't officially come in yet. They've been ordered but hadn't officially come in, so we're trying to wait on them to get them mocked up. But I'm to the point that I got to get this thing sprayed. It's been too long, and we need to make sure that we get it finished. So yeah, wet sand tonight, possibly the whole cab. Door jambs are already prepped. They're sanded at 400. Remember, I already sprayed them out, but they didn't turn out right, so I ended up going back, sanding them down, primed them, re-sanded them with 400. They are ready to go right now. I can spray them without touching anything else on them. But what I want to do is go ahead and get the rest of the cab ready with 800, and I may end up going over 800 with the door jambs. I don't know yet, but like I said, 400 is more than enough for the door jambs. 800 is just going to make it that next level on the outside, the exterior, making it slick to remove all of those 400 grit scratches. Again, average body man, paint and shop, they're going to hit it at 400. Heck, they might even hit it at 320 and go ahead and shoot the paint in the clear on there. Again, this isn't a restoration show car. I know I've put on the thumbnails that it is a restoration, and technically in all aspects it is a full restoration that we're doing, or a partial restoration that we're doing. But at the same time, the customer never asked for a restoration. He simply asked for it to be painted and a few extra things done in the meantime. Like I said, we're just taking that extra step, right? We want to make the customer happy. So yeah, sit tight. I'm going to put a hyperlapse on so you guys can see me sanding, wet sanding. If I see anything out of the ordinary, I'll bring you up. But other than that, that's probably what you're going to get tonight, because I need to get this thing wet sanded to where I can get it pressure washed, get it taped up. Let's get this thing in some color. Here we go. Well, come on over here so you can see what I got. I know I got you shoved in a corner. All right, this side of the cab and the top of the roof has been wet sanded with 800. I meant to put a interface pad on this, but I've got the Velcro backing pad, so hopefully that will give enough of a cushion that it doesn't eat into the remainder of the paint too bad. Like I said, there's I don't see any places that I'm missing in here. I've still got to do along the bottom of this whole section right here. I've got the bottom half, but just the underneath right here, I've still got to do it all the way down. I've still got to do the underneath right here, this small edge, around the door handle, around the door itself, around the window rather, and the top of that fender right there, and it's done. So it's coming along. This back here has been sanded. You can see where I sanded half of this and began sanding part of this. Like I said, I've still got to sand this back here. Still got to sand the other side. So I'm going to continue on sanding. It's been about an hour. Like I said, the 800 goes a whole lot faster than what the 400 did, because we were going from 220 to 400. So there's quite a bit more scratching in it. But the 400 to 800, like I said, there's not so much. So it's really taking the guide coat off pretty quickly. And once I get back here to the hood, I'll show you kind of a little bit more in depth. Maybe you'll be able to see it a little bit better. But once I get all of that sanded, what I'll do is I'll go over with some red scuffing pad and actually scuff down the whole entire thing wet. So that way I get all of the remainder of the guide coat off, and that way everything will be sanded. And like I said, this is 800. Originally meant to do a soft interface pad. The soft interface pad would have just helped me skim across these edges a little bit easier without having to worry about them so much. But like I said, nothing that a little bit of hand sanding can't take care of anyhow, and I think we'll be okay with that. Yeah, so we'll keep on trucking along. Like I said, top's pretty well done. I got to do the other half of the whole cab now. Still got to do the hood, so I'm gonna keep on trucking on it. I'll bring you back in just a few minutes. All right, so there's the hood finished. Got a couple places that actually broke back through to the feather fill and some back down to the base, but sealer's going to take care of that. Everything looks like it's pretty well smooth. All the body work is good. No pinholes that I can tell. So I think we'll probably dry this, wipe it down, dry it, wipe it off with wax and grease remover. Then we will take some glass cleaner, spray way, wipe it down, and tack it off, be ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and get started on this rest of this other half of the cab, because as you can tell, I've got from here over, still got to do the top up there, just on the back right here where the third brake light is, and then over half of the top has already been done, so I got to do the top half and this side, and we'll be done with the final sand, wet sand with 800. And then we need to blow it off, dry it off so that it doesn't flash rust, and then we will be ready to tape up. Probably going to tape up Thursday and go ahead and see what we can spray Thursday. Originally what I was going to do is I was going to guide coat the whole thing and just sand the top and the hood and around the doors, tape them off, and then that way I could come back and final sand the rest of it. But got a little carried away. We're going to keep plugging along. I think we'll be able to make it happen. If not, it's just more sanding, right? So I'm gonna get started on this truck, and then we'll be back whenever we finish. All right, let me see if I can get you caught up on what we got tonight. So it's Friday night. Last night the power went out. I was out here till probably 8:30 trying to wait on the power to come back. It didn't come back on until like 11:30 last night. No way I was staying out here having to get up and go to work next day. So I ended up heading back home and leaving it where I left off. So all of the body panels now on the cab have been wet sanded with 800, and they have been gone over with Scotch-Brite. We just had some massive storms come through tonight. It's currently about 9 o'clock at night. They've just moved out of the area. Power flickered again. I didn't want to be in the process of painting and get stuck in the middle of painting and the power go out, because, well, that would be no bueno, right? So I'm currently trying to debate whether or not to go ahead and try and tackle the roof of this cab and the door jambs tonight, possibly the hood. It appears that I've sprung a slight leak. I don't know if you guys can see that line right there, but I sprung a slight leak in the canopy cover that I have, and it is causing all kind of spatter, water spatter over this hood. So I may just have to cover this hood up and not worry about the hood tonight. Do it whenever I spray the rest of the cab. I got some taping I need to do still on the interior of the doors for the cab itself. Where I wet sanded and got the paper wet, some of it tore and blowed through, so I'm gonna go back in there and retape it with another layer, try and get it ready to go as well. And if all of that works, I think we may just go ahead and do what I've told you guys 1,000 times on this channel that I was going to do to this thing, and go ahead and paint the top and around the door jambs inside and out, and get it ready so that over this weekend it can be drying. Then I can come in first next week, tape up the top, door jambs, and go ahead and spray the rest of this cab. Fingers crossed. All of the fingers crossed. Yeah, so I'll set you up in the corner right here, let you see me kind of wipe everything down and tape some stuff up, and then I'll bring you back whenever we start spraying. As long as the power doesn't go out, we're going to spray it. The temperature has significantly dropped. It was mid-90s earlier this week. Now it's down into the 70s. Thank you, Mother Nature in North Carolina. I think everything will work out for me. Yeah. Worst case, it doesn't work out. We have to sand the whole thing down and start over, right? I don't even want to think about that at this point with the amount of hours that I've got in this thing, but we're going to do this. Let me set you up in the corner. I'll bring you back. Okay, so I got the sealer got over the whole entire truck, inside the door jambs, all the way down, and now we're getting ready to spray some color on it. So hopefully you can hear me. I'm gonna set you up right here. Matter of fact, I may set you up. Let me just set you up right here. That way you'll be able to see what I spray. Okay, so there's one coat of black on it. I'll go back and put another coat of black on it here once this flashes off. It's almost there now. You can see that it kind of dulling itself out. This stuff seems to cover fairly decent. And it is black. Back out so I can give you a little bit more. It is black. All right, now we wait. I'll shoot a second coat on it. Okay, first coat of clear down. Probably just gonna put 2 on it. See what it looks like, how it turns out, how it lays down, all that good stuff. Get you over here so you can see if I can get out of the way of everything. Like it laid down pretty decent. Got a few places where it looks as though it may be bubbling just a little bit. I'm unsure about why that is. Mainly on the door frame where I had trouble before. But I think we can get away with it. She's black, as black as can be. I see a spot over there that I missed. See a spot over there that I missed on the inside of that door. A little tricky to get to the inside of these doors over here. Uh, Anyhow, looks like it's turning out okay. So, tech sheet says 30 minutes for this to flash. And then we'll get to spray a second coat. And I'll bring you back whenever we do that. All right, second coat clear on. It's starting to get a little chilly. So I think I'm gonna call it at that. This stuff seems to be laying out fairly decent. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it does seem to smooth out. Got some runs in this one. Nothing that we can't sand out, I don't think. What I get for spraying it heavy. But at the same time, we're making sure that we got enough coats on here and enough mill's thickness to make sure that everything stays nice and glossy. And so far it is. So again, super happy with the majority of it. Like I said, there are some runs. There is a little bit of trash. There is some bubbling that I got to take care of. But all in all, Amco clear for the win. Time to go get this gun cleaned up. I'll let it cure for about 30 or 45 minutes before I leave. It is currently 3:35 Saturday morning. Like I said, pulling an all-nighter again just to get this thing done. These are getting a little rougher the older I get, but like I said, we'll let that flash off, let it cure. We'll let the rest of this overspray get out of this booth here, shut my everything down, and hopefully none of these bugs that are flying around are end up in the clear before it's all said and done. I hope. So let's get out of here. Talk to you on the next one.